Netflix has completely changed what it sells at least 4 times. It went from mailing you DVDs, to streaming other people's shows, to making its own shows, to running ads, something it swore it would never do. Most companies that make one pivot like that don't survive it. Netflix made 4. So what let Netflix keep surviving its own reinventions? When a company like Blockbuster couldn't survive just one. Netflix starts in 1997 in Scotts Valley, California, founded by Reed Hastings and Marc Randolph as a DVD by mail rental service. Hastings has told the origin story the same way for years. A $40 late fee on a rented copy of Apollo 13 from Blockbuster, and the idea for a rental service with no due dates. Whether or not that exact fee is the real spark, the business idea underneath it is real. No due dates, no late fees, a flat monthly price. In 2000, Hastings and Randolph fly to Dallas and offer to sell the entire company to Blockbuster for $50 million. According to Randolph, the room could barely hold its laughter. Blockbuster's leadership saw Netflix as a small, niche mail order business, not a threat. Antioco has since disputed how serious the meeting really was, but he doesn't dispute that it happened. Blockbuster passed. Netflix is worth roughly $300 billion today. Blockbuster doesn't exist. By 2007, DVD by mail is Netflix's entire business, and it's working. That's exactly when Netflix launches something called Watch Now, streaming video delivered over an internet connection most Americans didn't yet have fast enough to reliably use. This is the first time Netflix bets its most profitable, still growing business on a technology that, at the time, barely worked. Nobody was forcing Netflix to do this. No competitor was about to outstream them. They did it to themselves, years before they had to. 4 years later, Netflix nearly undoes all of it in about 90 days. In July of 2011, the company splits its combined DVD and streaming plan into 2 separate plans, raising the price by as much as 60% for anyone who wanted both. Then, in September, Netflix announces it's spinning off the DVD business entirely under a new name, Qwikster. Separate website, separate billing, separate everything. The backlash is immediate. Per Netflix's own quarterly filing, the U.S. subscriber base drops from 24.6 million to 23.8 million in a single quarter, about 800,000 people, the largest subscriber loss in the company's history to that point. The stock falls by nearly 80% over the following months. Netflix kills the Qwikster idea about 3 weeks after announcing it. They keep the price increase. This is worth sitting with, because it's proof the strategy in this video isn't some flawless formula. Deliberately disrupting yourself is genuinely risky. Netflix almost paid for this one with the whole company. 2 years after nearly wrecking itself, Netflix makes its next bet the company move. In February of 2013, it releases its first original series, House of Cards, after committing about $100 million up front to fund 2 full seasons before a single review came out. It works, and it becomes the new default. Netflix's annual content spending grows from about $2.4 billion in 2013 to $18 billion in 2025, with another $20 billion guided for 2026. Once again, nobody forced this. Licensing other studios' shows was still working fine in 2013. Netflix cannibalized its own licensing-based model to become a studio on its own schedule. For over a decade, Reed Hastings said in public, on the record, that Netflix would never run ads. In November of 2022, Netflix launches Basic with ads. $6 $2.99 a month. The ad tier has grown from about 70 million monthly active users in 2024 to more than 250 million monthly active viewers as of May 2026. Ad revenue itself grew by more than 2.5 times in a single year. Once again, nobody forced this reversal either. The subscription business was still healthy. Netflix walked away from its own stated principle because the math on a bigger, ad-supported audience eventually made more sense than the math on staying ad-free forever. In May of 2023, Netflix starts enforcing something it had let slide for years. One account, one household. Password sharing across households gets cut off in the US. The predicted outcome, from a lot of analysts, was a wave of cancellations. Instead, Netflix adds 5.9 million subscribers in the following quarter, nearly triple what Wall Street expected, and 9 million more the quarter after that. The audience Netflix was afraid of losing mostly just started paying. Here's where Forbes bets the company lands in Netflix's own FY 2025 numbers. Revenue, $45.2 billion, up 16% from the year before. Paid memberships, over 325 million, crossed during the fourth quarter of 2025. Operating margin, 29.5%, up from 26.7% the year before. Lay the whole timeline out at once, and the pattern is obvious. DVDs give way to streaming in 2007. Streaming gives way to original content in 2013. The subscription-only model gives way to ads in 2022. Each time, Netflix ends the previous era itself, before a competitor or new technology could end it for them. It's tempting to credit Netflix's survival to good content, or a good algorithm, or good luck. Those things helped. But Blockbuster had content too. It had customers, distribution, and a decade's head start. What it didn't have was a willingness to destroy its own most profitable business before something else did it for them. Netflix almost didn't survive doing that in 2011. It did it 3 more times anyway. That's the whole strategy.